105 TT 76. For the record, who's here?
Attorney Michael Paul on behalf of Lindsay Austin.
Okay.
Adam Hoffman on behalf of the defendant for Celeste Insurance.
We're here for a hearing on damages.
That's correct, Your Honor. I have 2 witnesses and a doctor's deposition.
All right, we ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, thank you for calling Linda Beckinson.
Want to raise your right hand and be sworn, ma'am? You solemnly swear affirm, tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Please be seated.
Good morning. Would you state your name and spell your last name, please, for the court?
Linda Bettenhausen, and I spell Bettenhausen.
And what is your current address?
13311 Lemoore Street in Cedar Lake, Indiana.
And how are you related to Lindsay Austin?
Her mother.
And I've asked you here today to do some testimony regarding a crash that Lindsay was involved in back in January 20, 2013. And your observations of her after that. Okay? On January 20, 2013, when was the first time that you had contact with Lindsay after the crash?
I met her and her brother in the hospital.
And at that time, explain to the court what your observations were as far as how Lindsay was doing.
She couldn't walk. She couldn't make a sentence. She was extremely rattled. And she was just in so much pain basically with her back that her head was hurting her really bad.
And what happened when you left the emergency room? Where did you guys go?
We went home. I had gotten my family physician on the phone right away because they did nothing for her in the emergency room. What little they did, I had to demand. I mean, I couldn't even get the doctor to stay in for 5 minutes. And, my family got her on the phone, and I told him what had happened, and I told him everything that transpired and how Lindsay was. He sent us, she went to the office to see the physician that was taking his place.
And what's that physician's name?
I can't remember.
Was your family physician Dr. Carlson?
No, Dr. Carlson was the one standing in for Stoffel. He ended up taking the practice over. And Dr. Carlson seen Lindsay and told her to get some rest, and he said that it was
Objection, hearsay.
You can't, ma'am, we're talking.
Okay.
You can't tell what doctor said.
Oh, okay.
So you took her to see this doctor, correct?
Right, yes, I did.
And then I believe you followed up with Dr. Kakaji.
Yes, they sent me to there. They actually sent me to the concussion clinic, to Dr. Gold, I believe his name is.
Okay. Let's do it this way. Let's talk about the first few months.
Okay.
From the date of the accident for the first few months. We know, we're going to hear evidence from Dr. Kakaji in his deposition that Lindsay suffered a concussion.
Okay.
First of all, with regards to the concussion, what were your observations for the first few months after the accident, how Lindsay was doing with her concussion? What kind of problems was she having?
She had headaches. She couldn't concentrate on anything. It didn't bother her to watch TV. She was trying to do her homework and couldn't read it, couldn't concentrate on it at all. Was extremely rattled. She was constantly dizzy, to the point where one night the dizziness made her throw up so bad, and she was in so much pain from her pelvic being all broke. We rushed her to the emergency room again that night. I mean, it was just ongoing and not stopping, and she couldn't hold a lengthy conversation at all. I mean, in the hospital even, she only said like 6 words in the hospital, and she looped that literally for 12 hours and couldn't say anything else or couldn't come up with a conversation at all. And I was worried. I was scared to death.
How did that progress for those first few months up until this point in time with regards to the issues she was having with her head, with the memory, the dizziness, things like that? Has it gotten better?
The dizziness has gotten a lot better to where the point where it's almost gone. Once in a while she still gets a little vertigo, it's like a little, off center. The headaches she still has, just not constant like they were. She still gets agitated and a little depressed. She was really depressed right after the accident. And they said that was all due to the concussion.
Now, the time of this, she was a college student, correct?
Yes.
And from what Dr. Takagi has told us in his deposition, he took her out of school for a semester, is that right?
Yeah. She went in to school one day, several weeks after the accident, and it gave her such a headache just being in there. And we went back to the doctor, and they took her literally out of school, and they said they wanted her, because she couldn't carry on anything or concentrate at all, and that would cause the headaches to get more severe, and then the dizziness would come in, and she would just get so flustered and so depressed. And he said, you have to get out of school. You can't.
Yeah, and hearsay.
Sustained.
And I believe that's covered in the doctor's deposition, so that's why he covers that.
Yes.
Now, in this crash, Lindsay also suffered a broken neck at the S4 level and
Yes.
2 fractures of her pelvic region. Explain for the court what problems you observed Lindsay having with regards to those injuries after the accident up to this point in time.
She was on crutches after the accident for probably, I want to say, probably a month on the crutches. And then she was taken off, and she had to walk. Went through so much pain. It was nuts. And even to this day, the pain has lessened, but now it's an everyday constant. Her back makes these unbelievable snap noises. That was the reason for the doctors referring to other doctors and going through therapy. They thought that therapy would work. The only problem with the therapy is she can't do a lot of the therapy because she has to lay on her back to do some of the exercises they make her do. She can't lay on her back because of the lump she still to this day has on her back. She cannot lay flat on the floor at all. She has a hard time being on her feet for long periods of time, can't walk around. We went to a festival and she couldn't even walk the fest. And so she can't do any major walking. I mean, still to this day, she can't dance anymore. And she can't wear any of her fancy shoes. She used to be a runner before this. Her and her husky used to go out running all the time. She can't run at all.
Have you seen her try to do these things?
She has tried, and she just stops because it hurts her. And then the only problem is she pays for it for a couple of days after. So it's not worth it.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Oh.
Mr. Hawkins, can I ask a question?
Cross-examination.
Lindsay had foot surgery on May 12, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Is that yes?
Yes.
Why was that foot surgery?
She got severe bunions in her growth years, which is hereditary. Well, my family had all the asthma. And hers got really, really swarming to her feet.
Your daughter had physical therapy.
Yes.
Did you go with her to physical therapy?
I went to one, I believe, and then no, I couldn't. I took so many days off work for this. I went to every doctor appointment, every emergency we went. For the therapy, I couldn't keep going. My job was getting in jeopardy because of the days off that I had. I spoke to one twice on the phone. Because I was concerned about a couple of the exercises that were laying on her back.
As far as was there any discussion of regarding cracking in her back that you mentioned?
The chiropractor I just talked to just recently that we went to trying to get some relief with this.
But as far as any physical therapists, you haven't spoken to them?
Just a couple of times I talked to one gentleman on the phone. But that was all over the... She has several pages of exercises and stretches she has to do.
With the physical therapy, the cracking in her back significantly decreased. Is that correct?
She cracks to this day up to 10 times or more a day.
And how much did it crack before then?
Before what?
Before, you said that she cracks her back 10 times a day now, correct?
Yeah, her back. What happens is the back, she doesn't crack it. What happens is when she turns a certain way or she sits up very straight, when she tries to either get up or move, it catches. And she has to like uncatch it, and it causes the back to make a large snap noise.
And you say a large snap noise, that's something you hear.
Oh yeah.
And that physical therapy she had, following this act, or at least the most recent physical therapy she had, was in May of 2014.
I'm not sure of the date.
Well, would it have been in May of this year?
I would lie if I would say the actual date. I don't know the actual date. We've been in and out of doctor's office, and there
Let's say in 2013.
Pardon me?
Let's say in 2013, to what extent did she have back cracking at that time? Say December.
I would say probably quite a bit.
More than 10?
No. It's not the point that it cracks. It's when she moves a certain way or sits a certain way.
So, I understand your testimony. You're saying basically her back cracking has not improved since the day of the accident.
No,
That is, yes, it has not improved.
has not improved. That's why we're seeking to go there.
And as far as the concussion, your testimony, her headaches are constant now?
No.
To what extent does she report to you headaches in the past month?
I would say weekly.
So she has headaches about once a week, to your knowledge?
Right.
And when she has headaches, what does she do for them?
The best thing is to go lay down in a dark room.
Now, does Lindsay, your daughter, does she live with you?
Yes.
So you see her day to day.
Yes. And we also work together.
What do you do together?
We work in a dental laboratory.
And what's your position after that dental laboratory?
Everything. I'm kind of I do multiple, it would be classified as a dental tech. I do multiple procedures.
You two, you work in the same room during,
Yes, on and off.
as far as any of the work that, at the time of this accident, was she working with you as a dental technician?
Yes.
Did she take any time off of work as a dental technician following the motor vehicle accident of January 20th, 2013?
After the accident, yes.
How long did she take off work on that accident?
Several weeks.
Several weeks, meaning 3 or 4 weeks?
What do you have to say? It was probably around 3.
And what kind of work, could you describe the kind of work that your daughter does at the dental lab?
She's a model technician.
So she makes models of teeth,
Right.
and that's basically a desk job?
She stands and sits.
Is that a noisy environment?
Not that noisy, no.
No drills or anything?
There's a grinder.
Grinders. And how often are those used?
You usually use them after you pour everything. I'd say maybe 10 minutes to grind stuff down.
How many implants, or I should say models, do you typically make a day?
Oh, that's rough. I would say on the average of anywhere from 10 to 20.
And after she returned to work, did she work full-time or part-time?
Part-time.
You know how many hours a week she worked there?
On an average of 25 or more. But on an average of 25.
How long did it take, to your recollection, for her to return to 25 hours or more at that workplace?
I'd say over a month.
And since that time, has she taken any time off?
For numerous doctor's appointments.
Other than for doctor's appointments, has she taken any time off?
No.
And as far as time she's taken off work, she doesn't work full-time, so she can coordinate it with her schedule.
Right. Yes, the owner works around her school.
And would you agree with me that the making models require some concentration?
Yes.
As far as your daughter's activities, you said dancing, running, is she part of any health clubs or any sort?
Yes.
What health clubs is she a part of?
Planet Fitness.
And how long has she been a member of Planet Fitness?
Not quite a year yet.
And how often does she go there?
Not anymore at all.
Why did she become a member of Planet Fitness?
To increase her upper body strength.
And why did she need to increase her upper body strength?
Because she wanted to have nicer arms.
So her concern was having nice arms.
And upper strength, yeah.
So she said she was on crutches 1 month after this accident.
Or, yeah, a good month.
Did she build some upper body strength with that use of crutches to your, from what you could observe?
Yeah, she got a little bit of a muscle. She was carrying out basically all her body weight.
But she wanted a little stronger than that.
It's just an exercise.
Is there any kind of activities, other activities that she can do that you haven't mentioned?
That she can do or can't.
Well, let's say ones that she can do. You say she can't dance and can't run, but what are the activities that she can do? Hobbies, things of that nature.
Anything involving her upper body. She really doesn't do anything else. Like I say, she was a runner. That's basically the only thing she really used to do.
Does she do rowing?
Do what?
Any kind of rowing?
No.
Is there specifically any activity that she seeks to increase her upper body strength?
No.
That's all I have.
And redirect. Thank you, ma'am. You may step down.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I'll call Lindsay Austin.
Okay, Ms. Austin, you take a stand, please. Now raise your right hand and be sworn, ma'am. You solemnly swear affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but truth to the best of your knowledge. Please be seated.
Good morning, Lindsay. Would you state your name and spell your last name, please, for the court?
Lindsay Austrian, A-U-S-T-G-E-N,
And where's your address?
13311 Memorial Street,
And what's your date of birth?
November 26, 1980.
How old does that make you today?
22.
We're here today because of a crash you were involved in as a passenger back in January of 2013. I want to talk about the injuries that you sustained. And we know that you received a concussion. And you heard your mom testify and you've gone over the medical records and just reviewed them. Explain for the court, starting with the time of the accident, what issues you were having and when those issues resolved.
After the accident,
Yeah.
I had really bad headaches from my concussion. I had a lot of dizziness. I had a lot of confusion. I wasn't even to do school anymore because I couldn't concentrate, and when I would concentrate, I would get frustrated, and I get depressed because the whole fact that I wasn't doing well as I would in school, because I couldn't concentrate on anything. I couldn't walk, for one. It was hard for me to walk, so I had my boyfriend at the time take me to school to help me with crutches, because he was carrying a book bag and I absolutely couldn't carry it. I had a hard time with the crutches because sometimes it would be snowing, and the crutches and the floor would go so well.
Let's stop there just for a moment. At the time of the crash, what school were you enrolled in? And what were you taking up?
I was taking my dental hygiene classes. I was taking microbiology. I had a type of chemistry class, an organic chemistry class. I had a speech class and an English class.
And as a result of the doctor's recommendations, you withdrew for a semester, correct?
Yes.
And I understand you were already in that semester when you had to withdraw.
Yes.
What were the consequences, if any, that you endured as a result of having to withdraw and getting back into IUN?
It put me back about another semester, which sucks because now that I have to take another semester longer. It also put me closer to academic probation. So now that if I have a class that I do not understand the teacher well and I would like to take it with somebody else, I can't because I have to stay in that class because I have to drop out.
Do you still have any issues ongoing today with regards to headaches?
Yes, I have headaches still. It's still in the same area because I used to get them more in my temple, but it's in the area where my head injury was.
Explain, if you're pointing to your head, so the records clear, tell us exactly where on your head you're talking about.
It's like above my temple area. They think this is where my brain slammed into my head, which is right here. Because I used to get headaches now.
And you're talking about the right side of your head.
Yeah, yeah. And then I still have problems in the state with my walking. I can't walk a lot.
Let's just focus on your head for now. Okay, we'll get to your back and your walking and all that in just a second. So you have headaches. How often do you have these headaches?
About once a week and once a week, depending on what I'm doing. If I concentrate a lot, it does hurt, but it's more towards when I get stressed out or if I have to concentrate on schooling a lot with studying because it's hard. I feel like it's hard for me to study a lot. I feel like I have to concentrate more than I used to in order to remember everything.
So in your mind, it's different than before the crash. All right, let's talk about your back and your pelvic area. Do you consider them the same as far as pain? Okay, let's talk about your back. You had a broken back at PS4. What kind of problems do you still have regarding your back?
I still have painful snappings in my back. It started a month after the car accident. I have like a huge lump, and I think the reason why it would start till afterwards, like a month, because I wasn't active at all. I was on a couch because I couldn't walk. And anytime I sit up straight, it snaps, and it's painful. It can be painful a lot of times, and then sometimes it will snap, but it's mostly painful at the time. I can't lay flat on my back anymore. Honestly, 5 minutes is the time when I get flat on my back. I can if I go to a nice wedding and just get a nice glow. Can't do it. I can't do my exercises anymore. I love yoga at home because I have a bunch of disc work. I can't do that anymore. I have an ab workout. I can't do that anymore. Running and walking is my main concern because it was like a stress reliever for me and I can't really do that anymore.
Okay. The running and the walking, what kind of problems does that cause you now?
It causes uncomfortable pain in my lower back, where my spine is curved in. And then the walking is from my pelvic. Walking around is from my pelvic because it's harder for me to run and walk for a long period of time.
Okay, let's go ahead and talk about your pelvic area. You have 2 fractures in your pelvic area.
Yes.
Do you still have pain in that area?
Yes.
How often do you have pain in that area?
I have pain in that area when I am active, and I was always an active person before this. So it really is disappointing because I can't be as active as I would like to be because I don't like sitting down and watching TV. I want to be outside. I want to be running. I want to be playing with my puppies.
We've heard your mom talk about physical therapy that you tried to do.
Yes.
And how did that make you feel?
It hurt when I went to physical therapy because they were trying to stretch me out because they said that my legs were one was longer than the other. and I had ran by my back with some of the exercises. So they ended up putting me on this long couch that they have, which is softer. Like you put my back, my base, and my back where the bump is, and the crack. I have that at my house, so it's more difficult to continue the exercises. But they never found out what was the problem. They just told me to keep doing exercises.
And I understand you've recently gone to talk to a chiropractor about your back to try to get some relief. And I understand that they recommended you to use a brace. Did you actually try a brace in your office?
Yes, there's this back brace that they have. It wraps around completely around my back and around my stomach, and they tighten it around to where it straightens up my back completely, and it feels amazing. I had so much pressure just let off my back. I was walking around and I was like, I'm taking this home. So it was a good brace.
And you weren't able to purchase that brace?
No, they didn't have one there for me to purchase, but they could order me one.
Your Honor, at this time I would like to introduce as evidence several exhibits. Exhibit number 1 is the records from St. Anthony Hospital.
Okay.
No objection.
Okay.
Exhibit number 2 is the Dr. Carlson's certified records. Number 3 is the Community Spine and Concussion Clinic certified records.
No objection.
All right.
Number 4, the Community Hospital certified records.
Objection.
Okay.
Number 5 are the certified records from Dr. Joseph Spot.
Objection.
Number 6 are the certified records from Dr. Hyder, Hyder.
No objection.
Number 7 are the certified records from Great Lake Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
No objection.
Okay.
Number 8 is the special summary for the bills. These include the bill amount, the write-off adjustments amount, the amount paid by farmers, and the amount paid by Blue Cross Blue Shield. It also has a wage loss summary along with a certification of that wage loss.
No objection.
All right.
And number 9 is from the Chiropractic One Center. It's an estimate for additional treatment that Ms. Rushton is seeking for ongoing back issues.
No objection.
Right.
I'm sorry, was there an objection? Sir?
No.
No objection.
Your Honor, if I may, I'll bring these.
Yes, please.
That's all I have for this witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Cross-examination?
Thank you, Your Honor. Let's begin with the time of the accident. You had been up all night drinking with friends at the time of the accident.
I was only drinking with, I wasn't up all night drinking. I was drinking with my friend Kayla, who was going over because school just started. So we were hanging out at her house.
Kayla,
Coca.
she was 19 years old at the time.
Objection, no, that's,
It was her liver. It was not.
Okay.
So you were partaking in liquor with her. And how many drinks did you have?
3 or 4. It wasn't anything like whiskey or anything hard.
Over the course of what time period?
Probably got there around 7, probably till 9, because that's when the boys came home.
So 7 to 9 p.m. the night before the accident occurred. You drank 3 or 4 drinks of alcohol. Correct? And then, at what time did you go home?
I don't remember. I woke up in my bed.
So, what do you remember regarding that evening after 9 o'clock?
I remember that Stephanie and Jack came in. We were all talking about going out to Miss Girlfriend's house to pick her up. And we were getting ready to leave. And I remember us leaving. Jack didn't have any, he didn't consume any liquor, otherwise I wouldn't have gotten in the car with him.
How many drinks did you have at that time of liquor?
I stopped drinking when I got there.
So what time did you go home? Or go with Jeff?
I'd say probably around 10:30 because we were all sitting down talking before we left.
And after, where was this? Was it a party or with Kayla? What was it?
No, it wasn't far, it was just me. I don't know.
Where did you go after 10?
After 10, we got some Taco Bell because we were all hungry. And then we were on the way to his girlfriend's house. And I don't remember where she lives, I don't remember.
What time did you go to the Taco Bell?
Probably got there, how long it takes to get from Cedar Lake to Taco Bell and not home. Probably around 11. Because I think I went before.
And how long did you stay at the Taco Bell in Crown Point?
We didn't actually stay there, we picked up the food.
So you picked up the food, ate in the car? Yes?
Yes.
How long did you stay and eat in the car?
I don't know, we were driving on the way to her house.
Did you make it to her house?
I don't remember.
So you don't really remember anything after about approximately 11 o'clock?
I remember driving the car on the way to her house, but I don't remember, I didn't even when I woke up, I didn't even know we picked her up. That's how confused it was.
Do you know who was driving the car?
Yes, I remember Jack was driving his sister's car.
So you've got basically
Are we talking about the night of the accident, or
we're
the night
talking about
before?
the night of the accident.
Okay.
As far as now, you were taken to the emergency room after the accident. Do you remember anything about being in the emergency?
No. I just remember waking up in my bed and severe pain and asking my mom what happened. Because all I remember was when I woke up was that I was at Kayla's house. And I had to think about it for a little bit.
For an according to the St. Anthony Medical Center report, note for date of service January 20, 2013, which is in the records, states that the time you were seen was at 6:28 a.m. in the ER. So as far as states in the record that you were involved in a motor vehicle collision about 1.5 hours before then, or roughly 5 in the morning.
I don't know what time it happened.
So you really don't have any idea of what you were doing between 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. to about 5 a.m. when the accident occurred.
Jeff told me some stuff that we done.
And Jeff is not here to testify. He was the driver involved in the accident.
Yes.
As far as you know, he didn't have any sleep that night.
Something like that. I don't know what kids do.
He said he slept that evening between the time you saw him at around 9 p.m. the night before and 5 a.m. in the morning.
Objection, Your Honor. I don't know what the relevance of this question is. This is a damage hearing. There's no issue of fault.
There's an issue as far as what plaintiff's status was at the time of the incident and to what extent she was injured in the accident as opposed to something else.
How was her status? What do you mean by status?
Intoxication.
First of all, whether or not the insurance company is going to say she's intoxicated, there's going to be no evidence that she was intoxicated. The fact of the matter as to what she remembers Jeff doing during that time period doesn't have anything to do with her intoxication. She had a head injury. The doctor testifies to that, and we're going to have this deposition here in a moment.
It's a matter of to what extent, what she was doing in that empty time period, whether she was intoxicated at that time and to what extent she was intoxicated.
If she knows. All right. You can answer. Unless you want to repeat the question.
Yes. So you don't remember anything that you did or what anyone did between the period of 11 p.m. the night of the accident to 5 a.m. when the accident occurred. Now, let's go on to your injuries in the accident. Now, do you recall striking your head in the accident?
I don't remember anything from the accident.
Remember where you were sitting in the vehicle at the time?
I'm listening.
Middle seat in the back?
Yes.
And as far as, do you remember how your body moved?
No, not moving.
So, you don't remember how you got to the hospital? Was your brother in the vehicle? Now, after the accident, you went back to school one time, and that didn't work out for you. And was your mother with you at the time that occurred? Yeah.
No, I worked at the time. My mom came back from work.
So as far as what your mother said, she knew that when you went back to school, you couldn't concentrate.
Well, she saw it when I was at home trying to study. She saw it.
So as far as who's your boyfriend?
My boyfriend at the time was the other gentleman in the car in the back seat.
Who's that?
That was Stephanie.
Now, let's go to your back. You went to, at some point, you had some snapping sensations. Is that yes?
Yes.
When did you start having snapping sensations in your back?
Say about a month after the car accident, because that was when I started to more walk around.
So that snapping sensation, was it any different than the kind of, I guess you had fractures in your pelvis? As far as those fractures in your pelvis, where were they in relation to your back?
The back pain is on the side anytime it snaps, because I put my hand there a lot of times because and then my pelvic pain is mainly on my left side.
So as far as that snapping sensation, you did go to physical therapy, correct?
Yes.
And that physical therapy did improve your pain?
I'd say, the exercises feel good, but it still doesn't fix the problem. It's still there. I still have this happening. I still have the uncomfortable back pain. I still can't, stand up for a long period of time.
To what extent did it improve your condition?
If I keep on the exercises like every day like I'm supposed to, it helps a little bit, but not a lot. It doesn't take away the problem. The problem's still there.
So as far as the last 3 pages of Exhibit 7, the discharge summary dated May 7th, 2014, states the popping, cracking you previously had significantly subsided with physical therapy. Would you agree with that?
It helps, but it still doesn't take away the actual problem. It's not fixed. It's still there.
Doing exercises does help that. Just popping, strength, cracking, and anything else that we have.
Not so much. I still have it about the same amount during the day, but it does help a little bit. But again, my back problem is still there. And after I went to the chiropractor, and you really see how messed up my back is, it's not going to get any better, even with the exercises. I would like to get it fixed now before I get older.
Let me ask you, you had, is it in your testimony you're closer to academic probation?
Yes.
At the time of this accident, were you on academic probation?
I'm just saying I'm closer to it now. It's bringing me down the percentage. The percentage is 62% of the dropout percentage, and I am now down to 72%. I want to stay as far away from it as possible. School very important to me.
You haven't had any more dizziness?
I do have some dizziness here and there.
So what causes dizziness?
Nothing. When I pick something up and I come up fast, I get kind of dizzy. Not as bad as it was. Definitely not as bad as it was. But I still have some dizziness. Or if I put my head down and when I come up fast.
So your physician, Dr. Kaji, not a time that you had a permanent injury with regard to your head?
Yeah, he said it would take some time for the symptoms to go away, which is fine. I don't expect it to go away for a year. He said we would have some problems with that.
So you disagree that you're with him? You're saying you're still having problems?
No, a lot.
And when's the last time you saw him? So even though you're having these problems, you haven't gone back to see him?
He said we would still have some issues here and there from concussions.
And that's all you have, some issues here and there.
Which
Which is why you haven't gone back to see him.
Yeah, because he told me that I would have some issues, especially with dizziness, maybe some headaches in the same area that I would be having headaches. He told me that I would have some issues.
Again, you answered the question. That's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Paul, anything else? Thank you, young lady. You may step down.
Your Honor, my last witness is Dr. Kakaji by deposition.
Okay.
It's 25 pages long. If you like, we could read it into the record, or if you like, I could just publish it. You can read it at your leisure, whichever you prefer.
Counsel?
Both are direct and cross-examination.
Any problem with me just reading it?
I don't have a problem with you. Just reading it.
Okay. All right, then you can just publish it and I'll read it.
And I'd also, Your Honor, move to admit exhibit number 10. And this can be conditioned upon your review of the record. Dr. Kakaji is going to testify that she has a permanent injury with regard to her pelvis. This is the life expectancy chart for a young lady of 22 to 23 years of age. And according to the chart, this is 59-year life expectancy.
I'm quite sure this is the latest version.
Okay.
So,
Submitted. All right. Any arguments?
Yes, Your Honor. Based upon the evidence, basically I have a 21-year-old lady here who suffered a severe concussion, and that's the way Dr. Kakaji phrases it in his deposition testimony. You should agree. That concussion makes her more susceptible to future head injuries. The records show that she had issues with nausea, memory issues, dizziness, headaches, vision, mood swings, irritability, fatigue, balance control, sensitivity to light. Bottom line is this is a very, very severe concussion. She was out of school for a semester. Thankfully, she's doing a lot better now with her concussion. She still has some ongoing issues, but those aren't the most significant parts of her complaints. The big issue with Ms. Austin, she had a broken back. She had a fracture at the S4, the sacrum level, which still gets problems. And she sought treatment for it, and the chiropractor has a recommendation. I believe it's another $17,000 in bills that he's recommending. And there's a brace that will help her. Dr. Kakaji also testified as to her fractures of her pelvic region. She had 2 fractures. And he testified that these are permanent injuries. These will never go away, and they're going to cause problems. Based upon that, with her bills to date, over $23,000 before adjustments, and the future medical bills of $17,000, that's about $40,000 just in bills alone. We're also seeking damages for the way it's affected Lindsay's life from the time of the accident till this point in time. If we go back and look at it, it's from January 20, 2013 till today. That's about 260 days. If we were to give $100 a day just for pain and suffering and how it's affected her life, that would be an additional $62,500. When we look at the life expectancy chart, we know she's got another 59 years to live. Considering her ongoing issues and the way she's not able to do things like she could before, the running, the exercise, because of her low back pain and her pelvic pain, we believe that 16 hours for each of those days at 50 cents an hour would be another $172,000. When we add those all up, these damages are clearly worth easily $270,000. However, we're only asking that the defendants pay their limits of $100,000 in damages. In addition to the damages, we're asking the court to award prejudgment interest pursuant to the prejudgment interest statute, and also
objection is to this argument, prejudgment interest before judgment.
I guess we can come back and argue that at a later time. My original prayer asked for prejudgment interest.
Okay.
I would just assume file it with the court today, and the court can make its ruling, and if you want to wait and do it another time, give it another time. However the court would like us to proceed, I guess.
Well, based on his objections, I guess if he's objecting,
Okay, I'll come back and file that at a later
you
date.
can file it.
For the words $100,000.
Okay,
That's it, Your Honor.
thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, as far as this allegation of broken back at S4, just want to state that take a look at the records. There's no indication that she has a broken back. In fact, there's no indication that she needed any type of surgery for her injuries in this accident. We'll take a look at Dr. Kakaji's deposition to take a look with regard to her concussion. As far as that goes, page 21, lines 3 through 6, Dr. Kakaji states that most patients with the concussion syndrome don't have injury, so there's nothing in particular in her case that made me think that she would have a permanent injury. Does not have a permanent injury and concussion. As far as the continued problems that she claims to have, take a look at page 19, lines 4 through 11. I asked, what time frame did you anticipate that her concussion symptoms would go away? His answer, I would say we have some reservations because of the severity of the symptoms that she came in with. But really, in spite of that, at that time, I would have told her you should be better in about 4 weeks or so. Now, as far as time off, she took some time off. She was able to go back to work, as testified within 3 weeks of the accident. And she was able to go back working full-time within a month after the accident occurred. As far as Miss Lindsay's lower back, she's currently working out at Planet Fitness. She's had a membership for a year, and although we're told it's just simply upper body strength, it shows that she's capable of moving around. If you take a look at Exhibit 7, again, her physical therapist, with regard to her back, she's improved a lot. Still has some cracking, but there was a significant improvement. She can have a membership at Planet Fitness and pay for that, and simply focus on her upper body and not improve her lower body, which she's complaining about. It shows that she's recovered for the most part from this accident. With that said, we take a look at just the night of the accident. There's a question about how much she had to drink that evening. As far as what her response is immediately after the accident, just puts into question to what extent was the injury versus the drinking, the effects of drinking. Now at this time, take a look at the record. She's got about $23,000 in medical bills. That's a gross amount billed. After you take in effect the write-offs or adjustments, those, it's about $15,000 or $16,000 in bills. In fact, Farmers or Bristol West Insurance Company paid $7,750.25 of those bills. But in any case, often we can take a look at the bills and translate that out potentially as far as what the other damages are concerned. In looking at this, certainly she did sustain some injuries. She did sustain some type of a concussion. For Dr. Kakaji, it was severe, but it's not a permanent issue. I suggest that perhaps the general damages should be 40 to 50,000 on this for a total amount, given, I guess, the average between the amount billed and the amount actually paid at $20,000, maybe between $60,000 and $70,000 for this case. Thank you.
Thank you.
Real brief here. First of all, I think it's shameful for an insurance company to come here and infer that while in one breath saying that, they agree Dr. Kakashi says she had severe concussion, in the other breath to say that maybe some of these symptoms are because of intoxication, when there is no evidence of intoxication whatsoever. Ms. Austin admits she drank that evening. Nowhere is there evidence that she's intoxicated, and that's just merely irrelevant and not important. I think, however, it is important. She did have a broken back. And I think all of us know, when Dr. Kakashi talks about a fracture at the S4, at the sacrum level, that's part of your lower back. And that's found in the community hospital records. That's beyond dispute. And with regards to Dr. Kakashi, he was asked, with regards to the pelvic fractures, can you say the reasonably created medical and surgical certainty whether or not the pelvic fractures were permanent or not? And he said, I would say that's difficult to say. It is a permanent injury. I can make that statement. The sacrum will never be normal again. I mean, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a 21-year-old girl here who has a broken pelvic region and sacrum. And that'll never be the same again, in addition to her severe head injury. Her life's been greatly affected, and she's entitled to every bit of the policy limits of $100,000. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
Nothing else, Your Honor, just...
All right, come on. I'll review all the evidence and issue an order.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All